some shit will never make sense to me. But James, I'm gonna let you speak. I'm gonna hit y'all with another question after James speak up on this topic. Go ahead, James.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. I got you, bro.
I just want to defend my father-in-law.
Nah, here you go. He got a Bentley and a jet.
Nah, he a car man for sure. He got an Escalade.
I know it was
They always got a Cadillac. Don't pimps always drive Cadillacs? Pimps always got a Cadillac. Go ahead, James.
Go ahead.
Check this out. I'm defending him because that man is about to retire from DWP.
Oh, okay.
What did I say?
100.
What did I say?
100.
I said they had jobs, right? When I was growing up, I said they had jobs. She was a preacher's kid.
He became the pastor because his father-in-law was the pastor and started the church.
Okay. So I can rock with you on that.
Pastor's daughter.
But doesn't that speak to what I said?
What's that?
That the pastors, when we was growing up, when they had shit, it's because they had jobs.
Yeah. Now it's a little different. Yeah.
Now it's different. Back then, they had real jobs. They deserved that shit.
Right.
Yeah, he still works. He works overnight and still does his sermon in the morning.
See? He deserved a caddy.
Yeah, he earned that caddy. He's putting in the work for the community.
He's the top dogs at DWP, so he writes his sermons at work.
Man.
See? That's how you do it. But a lot of these, but a lot of them today, we can say, they ain't got no jobs.
All right, yeah. So I'm gonna ask y'all a question out there, man. So like, to y'all, my audience, Facebook and Clubhouse, man. Tell me, like, what is y'all stance on just, like I said, believing in the, I don't want to ask, do y'all believe in God or not? Like, but what is y'all stance on religion? Just believing in the whole concept sold to us. Like,
thought process.
do you think, like I said, do you think this is something we should be following? Like, do we think we should sit back and wait for the Savior to come save us? Or do we need to get the fuck up off our ass and go save ourselves, man? Like, make it happen. Like, we all
some real
able, willing bodies out here now that can do it.
I'm telling you, I believe more in these nonprofits, the homies that's building nonprofits, than I do.
Yeah, other things. And I believe in my people, man. Like I said, I know the people we are, and I've seen it. I've seen me and my boys and family members, and even Danielle over here, man, like, then built it out the mud, like, came from nothing, was down and out for a while, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of, like, crawled our way up out that hole and just been building bricks from that hole on up and ain't looked back down since. You get me? So
what? Got the degree and everything.
So, like, I guess you can say we can thank God for giving us the mental capacity to even want to do that, you know? But even after we got the mental capacity to want to do that, like, is that more or less just the drive we have? Believing in ourselves? That's like, you believe in yourself, right?
I mean, I would tell you, the people on this earth who are living, who are having their heaven here on earth, usually do not believe in a religion. Their belief is in the power of their ability and their action, and they're not sitting and waiting for anything. They're making shit happen.
And the thing about it is, like you kind of mentioned, the people who out here who are on top, who make stuff happen, they took a chance to make shit happen. And a lot of people who follow Christianity and a lot of other religions blindly like that, they're too afraid to take chances. You know, they don't want to go outside that box that they're put in with that religion or the circle that they interact with. They scared to take chances outside of it because they don't want to be the one to fail or this, that, and the other. But you have to take a chance out here in life. And religion will hold you back from taking a chance.
I can see that.
Right?
I agree.
Right, and that's just, like I said, this is just me and Miss Yeezy over here bouncing it off the shit to each other, bouncing it off the wall. But honestly, I think, like, there's been times where I've been in messed up situations and I prayed on it like, oh yeah, God, just let me make it through this one, man. I won't do it again with you. So I'm not gonna say I've never been that guy. Like, I've been that guy, and I still am that guy at times. Like, I pray at night before I go to bed and shit like that, just because, like, it's been so driven into me from a child. Like, it's just hard to shake certain stuff.
Right, you build habits.
Yeah, and it just becomes normal.
Do it. It's your condition. You're conditioned to do it.
So with it being so normal, it's like when good things do happen, or you make up a situation that you felt like a tough situation to get out of, and you prayed on, you be like, look, God answered my prayers. But how do you know That wasn't a situation that you was gonna make it up anyway.
Right. I think about this though. If we say that we have the power of the tongue, right? The power of the tongue, when we say that our words have power, we can manifest anything, right? So if you feel very strong and intentional about something, and you keep saying over and over and over, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do this, get me out of this, get me out of this, get me out of this, the universe hears you.
Definitely.
So what's the difference between prayer and manifestation is what? I really don't know. I really don't really see the difference between prayer. I mean, yeah, I don't see a difference between prayer and manifestation, really.
But that's like if you are praying on something that hard for something to work for you or go in your favor, that means you put in effort to make it work as well. And that's why it goes back to that saying they say inside church, faith without works is dead. Because it's the same thing. If you're not actually putting in effort to make something happen, it's not going to happen. Right. So you pray on it and you give them the credit to, I prayed to God did it for me, woo. But you did it for yourself. You are the God that you're praying to. Pray to yourself.
Right.
Pray that you and yourself decide to get up in the morning, put your 2 feet on the ground, and do what you need to do. You give me pray on that part of it.
Yeah.
Don't deny yourself or take your credit away and give it to somebody else. And I think that's kind of why a lot of people, church-bound people, confidence don't be as high as it should be. Mm-hmm. Not all, but a lot. You know what I'm saying? They be denying themselves of certain things. Felicia, I see you got your hand up, Cuzzo. I'm gonna invite you to speak now. Go ahead, your mic is hot. There you go.
Hey. Just real quick, a few points. One thing is I'm probably more of a religious person a spiritual person than a religious person. I don't think there is one right or wrong religion. I prefer that people believe in something, because if they do, they generally do things a little bit different, at least I found in my experience. But I will say there are more white Christians than black Christians, so that's actually, not true. There's a bunch of us that are Christians. Yes, we did get that from America, but we also didn't necessarily get it from slavery. We didn't know how to read. Right. So we couldn't have read a book that told us anything. The only thing we could have done was depended on a certain feeling or faith, right, to get through some of those things. And because those people aren't around to really tell us what they felt, we don't have those answers. But as far as religion and saying, well, we go to church, we give all our money, we do stupid stuff with no return. We do that for everything. So sometimes we come up with excuses for why we do stuff. We overeat knowing we gonna gain weight, but we still do it. We can't use, well, the church does this, so I don't. We have to have our own discernment. Definitely. And that's the issue.
We don't have discernment.
You have to have your own discernment. So when that preacher is crooked, maybe you can still listen to his sermon, but I'm not sending my check there because I don't feel that person is deserving of that. Or I also know that God doesn't work like that he doesn't just hand me back my money. The other thing about religion that I think we get confused on is that we'll say, just like you guys started out in the beginning, why does this happen to us? If we truly believe in God and we say we are his children, why did he let what happened to Jesus happen? If you read the book and know everything that Jesus went through, even prior to being put on that cross, he was ran out of towns for people saying, you're doing crazy stuff that we don't believe in, and you're not who you say you are, right? Right. So it's us when we say, I'm who I say I am. And Jesus said, I'm also not going to prove it to you because I don't have to. I only have to prove it to God. So if we believe that, then, if we also have to understand that it's not going to mean a smooth ride. And for whatever reason, we say, oh, Jesus did it if it's good. But Jesus didn't do it if it's bad, which is not in the Bible. So that's one of those things where I just say we get so confused. If I get something good, Jesus gave it to me. And of course, Byron, of course, being my cousin, the amputee situation, everything that was going on then. I can only tell you, just real quick, my personal thing that was happening to me when I was in a coma, I was having a terrible dream the entire time. A demon was after me.
Wow.
And it wasn't, at one point, there was so many protesters. And I've only eventually understood some of this stuff when I woke up. The number of people praying for me were those protesters.
Ooh.
I couldn't understand why the protesters had decided they were going to fight the demon and that they were going to stay until he let me go.
Ooh.
These people literally did not go home. But it wasn't until, because I kept saying, God, you allowing these people to torture me. Why don't you just let me die? Because, of course, I didn't know. I'm thinking what I'm going through is real. And finally, I realized it was me. It wasn't them. And I can only tell you, I started singing, "Get behind me, Satan." And when I tell you the demons would touch me and their fingers would burn, they literally could no longer even touch me. And of course, as I'm here today.
Of course.
I eventually came out. And of course, Beast God knows.
Right.
I lost a baby before. There's nothing that can get you through that but something spiritual.
Of course.
You have to sometimes go through some things. In the Bible, Jesus does point out those people that don't go through nothing, don't worry about it. They're going to go through hell in the end because there's something about their life that they're taking these shortcuts and things. We all do things. We all sin. We all get messed up things.
ForFacts.
But if you don't believe, I don't tell anybody they have to believe. But I can only tell them what I think God got me through. I can't tell them their path. And I'm not going to make them believe. As long as you're not mistreating people, I don't care if you're an atheist. That's okay. But I'm also going to say, well, where do these things come from? Just as that man said, give me $1,000 or whatever to prove to me. Okay, well, you do the same. Give me $1,000 to prove to me that there is no God. How about that?
Right.
Let's both do the same. Let's both exchange these, because you can't tell me where everything else comes from. As you said, B, you can't tell me why there's certain animals in certain places and not in others. Where's the border? There's no borders. Why are they only, in Africa, or why are they only in Southern California, or why are they only right? And so why does this happen? So I just want somebody to explain that part to me, and then we good. But other than that, I believe in God, but I do believe Christianity is something we were taught. But at the same time, I do believe that we have a spiritual connection that we actually don't understand. And we let all the other stuff get in the way of us actually believing and talking to God through meditation or whatever. We let other things get in the way of that and cloud what's going on. And that's not, that's some of the reason why we're held behind. We're held behind by people that there's just more of them than us. But, that's a whole different topic.
Okay, yeah. And to touch on something like everything you said, Cuzzo, I commend you for it. And we're going to dig into, later on, talk to you about that demon thing. Because like I said, that's deep. And I've always wondered about that, particular thing about how when people are in a coma or things like that, is it just like they're in an intense dream the whole time, And you kind of answered my question right there. And that's like, you never really get that from anybody unless somebody who's in a situation, and that's super deep. And like I said, I'm thankful that you here with us, Cuzzo, because like I said, I know the struggle you went to, and you here, and I'm happy you here with us. And to touch on what you said originally about us becoming Christians, or the case may be, on our own because we couldn't read or things like that. But on the back end, the reason we became Christians is because when we were slaves, our slave masters were Christians, and that would bring the church home, or we would have to go to church with them as their slaves. So we picked up on their religion and made it our own, which I believe we got from our masters. That's how we became Christians. Like they know we couldn't read. That's why we're always singing the slave songs and the church hymns and all that stuff. And it became.
I think we went to church with them.
We worked in the churches. We did worked in the churches sometimes, and we also went to church with them. Certain slaves went with them, like the house nigga would go. You know, like the field slaves, they would be out there working in the fields, where the case may be. But the house nigga, they would go. You know, so
Didn't I know it?
I don't know. I don't know that I would say that because even the house nigga wasn't allowed to eat with them. They might have been able to serve them, but they weren't allowed to congregate with them, and that's in general, not meaning like church or anything. They weren't allowed in the same environment with them. So in the things that we sing are not the songs that they sang. They don't sing the same
no, you don't.
songs
You're right.
that we do. We had our own songs because our songs were about the struggle. So that's actually no. I couldn't see not one house nigga sitting in the church with them because it wasn't allowed. It just wasn't allowed. We weren't allowed to be that close to them.
So where did black people get the image of the white Jesus that we all have had around all this time? Knowing where we come from, huh?
You're right. Those all were already there. I agree with that. It's up to us to erase that because that's not even what the Bible says about his description.
Right.
We all know that.
Right. And
so
then
that's up to us to erase that. We can't depend on them to try to reverse something that they want to believe in, right? They want to believe in that, and they don't want you to know that you look like that person if you believe in it, right? Because if you think you're strong, and I'll say this real quick because one other thing I think Danielle said it about like how we struggle. I think you guys both said it. We all struggle. There's like, very little example of us not struggling. And I have to say that it depends. I have learned something being married to somebody that has a family that doesn't struggle.
Oh, no. I was talking about, I'm sorry. I hear what you're saying. I was talking about movies. I just gave an example of movies. That's what I was specifically.
Oh, yeah. That's on purpose, though.
Yeah.
TV, all that stuff is on purpose so that you always think you're only that way. You have to realize they're not going to portray you as somebody strong, somebody that you think you can be. The more that they show you that you're not that person and the people around you are not those people, it gets embedded in you that we're just simply not those people. And so that's on purpose. That has nothing to do with reality. It's just in case. If they show homeless people tonight, they're going to show you black people when the majority of homeless people are white. And that's going to be on the commercial.
right.
It is what it is, and they play on things. They play on so many things. So that's a whole different topic. If they say a child prostitute, for example, well, there's no such thing. But if they say that to you, you don't feel sorry for them.
Right.